Good morning from Crawfordsville High School and John Frodes Field, where this morning your Crawfordsville Athenians will entertain the Fountain Central Ball Club, which comes in 0-3. Your Athenians, after a big win last night, come in at 4-2 on the season. This evening, I'm still here. I stayed all night. I thought I was going to for a while. A 10-inning ball game last night that Athenians pulled out in the bottom of the 10th for the first victory of the season. Well, this morning we got a beautiful sunlit morning. The temperature at 48 degrees, a wind east-southeast at 13, and Jeff Nelson tells us that the wind chill is 44 degrees. Good to have Jeff with me again today. This is Dan Welliver, and along with Austin Hickey, who's giving you a great picture, I'm sure. So this morning, the Mustangs really struggling so far, Jeff, and I think that they've lost 2 games to North Montgomery, maybe?
No, they actually lost to Riverton Park. And they lost on Thursday to North Montgomery.
North Montgomery, too,
and had a real great chat with Coach Adam Acton, who's become a good friend over the course of the years in his second stint at Fountain Central. They are way behind because the basketball team went all the way to the semi-state, and five guys on the baseball team were playing basketball. So they literally got just enough practices to play their first game against Riverton Park.
Yeah.
So Coach said, we're 2 weeks. He said, we're just a bunch of practices and stuff away. He said, just a lot of little things in baseball. He said, we've not worked on any pickoff plays. We've not worked on who covers which bases, which guys to throw to in situations like that. He said, and on top of that, the guys haven't had as many swings in the batting cage.
Well, of course, we see the same thing when we get to basketball season for those teams that hang over into football.
Exactly.
And something we didn't have to worry about years ago. But one of the problems which I guess are good problems in one way, a team has done very well. That's what that means.
Sure, no problems having teams advancing deep into the state tournament, no matter what sport you're on. So to just finish up thought on Fountain Central coaches, that Coach Acton said that's not an excuse. He said, and he thinks, we're going to be a pretty good team by the end of the year. So, his hitters, he's real confident. He's got a fairly veteran team. We will see a pretty deep in the hole pitcher today.
Mountain Central Mustangs and your Crawfordsville Athenians.
Okay, we're going to turn it over to the PA and give you the starting lineups.
Leading off the shortstop, number 10, Braden Prickett. Batting second, the pitcher, number 5, Cale Garbison. Batting third, the catcher, number 12, Owen Acton. Batting fourth, the center fielder, number 14, Kyle Slinker. Batting fifth, the third baseman, number 25, Luke Foxworthy. Batting sixth, the first baseman, number 4, Lucas Miller. Batting seventh, the left fielder, number 21, Zach Guerin. Batting eighth, the second baseman, number 2, Nolan Acton. Batting ninth, the DH, number 6, Andrew Woodrow. Woodrow will be batting for the right fielder, number 9, Spencer Kraut. The Mustangs are coached by Mr. Adam Acton. Now let's meet the starters for your Crawfordsville Athenians. Leading off, the DH, number 34, Bryce Dow. Dow will be batting for the left fielder, number 16, Sam Manette. Batting second, the third baseman, number 2, Wyatt Mokes. Batting third, the catcher, number 8, A.J. Hall. Batting fourth, the first baseman, number 11, Cale Corsi. Batting fifth, the second baseman, number 21, Cale Weimer. Batting sixth, the pitcher, number 4, Caden Underwood. Batting seventh, the shortstop, number 6, Jude Corsi. Batting eighth, the right fielder, number 20, Caden Patton. Batting ninth, the center fielder, number 5, Dylan Farley. Today's umpires are Mr. Bill DeMumbrum and Mr. Jared Larson. Fans, please direct your attention to the American flag located in right field. At this time, the Crawfordsville Community School Corporation and the IHSAA invite you to proudly stand and remove your caps as we honor the United States of America with our national anthem.
Once again, a great sight as the players line up and salute the flag on the baseball field. We have to remember, again, Jeff, beautiful field.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to say it's one of the better high school fields in the area.
There's no question
I mean, we've got some other good ball fields, but Athenian's really.
And we're not going to cheat and talk about the guys that have artificial turf.
No, as a matter of fact, we did play on one artificial turf down south.
Okay.
And I guess it was fine, but I think, Austin, I think that was the game where we had a sun problem, we had a wind problem, and the artificial turf didn't help a bit.
Didn't make a bit of difference, huh? So, yeah, no, and as I remember right, we're going to see two of them this season in the Sagamore Conference.
Yes.
Has had infield turf
Yes.
For quite some time, and Tri-West, I think, breaks into their new facilities this year, which is, I heard all artificial turf, but probably maybe just the infield.
Well, definitely in Indiana, and I suppose many places over the country with the spring weather, it certainly is an advantage from that standpoint. You're going to play some more ball games than you would otherwise, or at least on that particular date. And so I don't know whether we'll see any artificial turf in Montgomery County anytime near or not, but nonetheless.
We'll see it here, I'll bet.
Well,
not with the condition of this phenomenal field.
We can hold water a little better, or get rid of water a little better than we do here, for sure.
Yeah.
But still, it's a great field. Well, we're about ready to go here, and I want to thank Roy Cheney, who's on the PA, giving us the lineup today. So here we go. On the mound, Caden Underwood, and he is making his first start of the season. Braden Pickett steps in. Here's a pop, and that's going to be right in the middle of the diamond. Everybody's looking now, third base, and cannot find it, and we had a sun problem right off the get-go. Wyatt Moats was there but didn't know where the ball was, and we all understand that.
Yep.
That sometimes, Jeff, is given a hit in the big leagues. But
Right. And it never touched his glove.
We scored an error on the board, I was going to say. So I'm gonna have to go with that as of now.
Right.
E5 and a runner on first as we start the ball game here.
We got the guys putting bats on the ball right away. I was just going to comment as this first pitch comes in.
There's a very good bunt, an excellent bunt. He's going to beat it out, and a good job. Really, that's a play that a lot of young catchers will go ahead and try to make, and they had no chance to get it out. So A.J. did the right thing, put that ball in his pocket. So the Mustangs right away pose a little bit of a problem here.
2 pitches and 2 guys on base. I'll get it done quickly, Coach. Against North Montgomery, they were aggressive at the plate, so I expect them to do that again today. They know they're facing a good pitcher in Crawfordsville in Underwood, so I look for them to go after the early pitches.
So there goes as a base hit, runners first and second, nobody down. Underwood to the plate. Here's a line drive going in deep into left field. That's going to score a run. That ball stay just inside the line. It's going to score 1 for sure, and they'll hold it up there at second and third. So Mustangs quickly on the board as Owen Acton doubles to left field right down that line.
Acton was at the plate in the bottom of the 7th with 2 runners on and a chance to tie in a comeback effort on Thursday night against North Montgomery. Was not able to get the ball out of the park, but gave it a good ride. He's a big football kid, big basketball kid. He's the coach's son, and I'll tell you what, he can hit the ball a long way.
Well, he got all that one. He just wasn't going to go out. A ball could certainly go out to left field today, I believe, even though the ball is being pushed to the left field line. First pitch swung on and fouled back by Kyle Slinker. He's the center fielder. Here's a line drive base hit to left field. Again, right down the line, they're pulling that ball, and the Mustangs quickly score runs 2 and 3 to add on. So another base hit and another score. We have quickly Athenians in a bit of a hole here.
Three hits and reach on an error, 3 runners, and there's been a total of 5 pitches.
Well, I don't know that normally we'd like the pitch count, but it's probably not anything that Coach Moch is too happy about right now. Here's a swing and a miss by Luke Foxworthy. Luke Foxworthy playing third base today. Checking the coach. Steps back in the batter's box. Short lead at first base.
Foxworthy was one of the stars of the basketball team.
Yes, he was. He's a pretty good athlete.
Yes, he is. But just like most of us, he has little problems with that curveball right there.
Well, yes, and well located, I might add.
Right.
Ball down and away. So it's 0-2 on Foxworthy. Short lead again to first base. Here's the pitch, same pitch, swung on and miss. So out number 1, but we had to go through 5 batters, Jeff, to get an out.
Sure did, and Fountain Central has swung at every pitch so far.
You talked about being aggressive.
Yep.
Lucas Miller to the plate, first baseman. Here's a pitch, but tipped and missed. 1 strike.
Yep, tipped and foul. Miller is the Mustangs' #1 pitcher, so he will be there. He will be on the mound on Monday when they play South Vermilion in their conference.
Okay. Underwood to the plate. Breaking ball hangs high. Count evens at 1-1.
Hey, somebody took a pitch.
There you go. Well, he apparently was right in his judgment. It's called a ball.
Yep.
Infield playing straight away. Here's a line drive into left field. That's a base hit. So the Mustangs continue to batter the ball.
Now batting left fielder Zach Guerin.
So that moves runners to first and second now with Zach Guerin coming to the plate. He's playing left field.
He had a big hit in the last inning comeback on Thursday.
Underwood delivers high, ball 1. Well, Athenians need something like a kind ground ball here, maybe.
A pitcher's friend.
Here's a pitch. That's taken for a strike. Good breaker right there. Moats moved back now, about a step maybe behind the bag at third. Here's a 1-1 on the way. Breaker swung on and missed. He's having some success with the breaking pitch for sure.
Yeah.
But,
Well, and as we talked about before the game started, Coach, these Mustangs, these guys especially these guys coming in for basketball, have just not seen a lot of pitches, and that off-speed stuff's going to fool them pretty badly.
Here's a swing and a miss. That breaker was off the plate, but trying to guard with 2 strikes. Went out a little bit too far. It swings and misses for strike 3, so we've got 2 down here in the top of the first.
So bring up another one of Coach Acton's boys.
Yeah, Adam.
Another good athlete in Nolan Acton.
Here's the pitch swung on, grounded to the pitcher. Underwood over, on to first base for out number 3. By the way, I believe that's the first time that Corsi's been playing first base this year.
Okay.
And he got stretched out a little bit on that throw, even though it was a short throw. So Acton grounds out, and we finally end inning number 1 after the Mustangs send 8 batters to the plate. So after 1/2 inning of play, the Fountain Central Mustangs have a 3-0 lead. 16
pitches. Yeah, that's all Underwood threw to face 8 guys and give up the 3 runs. And Coach, I'm not going to, you don't want to discount 3 runs, but coming into this day today, and I told some guys from the Journal Review and taught a couple of the guys last night as I was watching the end of the baseball game here, this game's not going to be a 2-1 game. This, we're looking at number 4, number 5 pitchers for both staffs. I fully expect this to be a pretty high-scoring game. So 3 runs is, it's a nice number to get. But I know that's why Coach Acton was aggressive at the plate, because he flat out knows that there's not going to be a lot of zeros on that bottom line for Crawfordsville.
Well, I don't know whether the Athenians had intended to throw more than one today or not. I heard another name possible, so maybe they intended to do a little bit of relief work. The Athenians, by doing the trip down south, it really gives them an opportunity to get kids some innings early in the year under pretty good weather conditions, and so that's a really great benefit to that southern trip. And boy, I'll tell you, both KOs were great last evening. Just outstanding.
Yep. And Cale Corsi, of course, only threw 3 innings because they're setting him up because he will pitch against Danville on Tuesday in the conference opener for Crawfordsville, which is going to be right here. So.
Yeah, Cale, of course, did not allow a hit last night, and Weimer just had really good stuff. He did give up some hits, but he was really sharp. All right, here we go. Bryce Dow, the DH for the Athenians. Here's a pitch. He takes this for a strike, kind of a slow breaker. This young man is not going to blow anybody away, but sometimes that's a real problem.
Yep, this is assistant coach Garbuson's son Cale, and he'll throw strikes. He'll be close to the plate, but there's just not going to be a whole lot of what is it called? What does Coach Mote say? Velo. That seemed to be there.
Yeah. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pitch to Dow. This is taken down and away. 2-1.
Dowell's a 200 hitter, 4 hits and a couple RBIs on the season.
Yeah.
Got some, I understand, talking with Bryce Barton, athletic director, last night, that Bryce got some real good medical news concerning his arm.
Yes.
So
we were able to pass that on last night, actually. There's a pitch for a strike, count evens 2-2. He's by the way, you said 200 hitter. He is actually a better hitter than 200,
right.
but right now that's where he is. But he's on base. If you check his on base, I think he was on base at least 3 times last night.
Okay.
Here's a pitch. Breaker down and away. Big hump on that one.
Yeah.
Kind of a pitcher that sometimes takes a little time for adjustment because there's the ball up, and that'll be ball 4. So Dowell once again aboard. I believe he walked twice last night and was hit once. So
there you go.
So he is on. That's why he's up at the top of the batting order.
The tough way. Well, I mean, this is not his first season. Bryce is certainly a very, very, very good baseball player, and I remember from last year and even the year before that. I mean, he's an aggressive hitter, but as you said, he's a guy that gets on base a lot.
Runs pretty well, not really known as a base stealer. Wyatt Earp. I knew I was going to do it one of these days. Wyatt Moats.
I'm just glad I was here.
Well, takes the same number of letters.
Sure.
And no. I like westerns. So what are we going to say?
Yep.
Okay. Here's the next pitch. That one's there. The count evens. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just underway here at Froge Field. Athenians down 3-0 as the Mustangs tacked on in a hurry.
Yeah. Wyatt's just under a 400 hitter with a handful with 9 hits.
Here's a pitch. This is taken outside. So far, I'm really pleased the way the young men are being patient. Against a pitcher who the ball looks as big as a balloon coming up there, and yet they're not going out of the zone to swing at. Here's a throw to first, runner back in time.
Yeah, the first time through the order, after seeing some pretty good heat last night against Portage and some pretty good pitchers in Tennessee.
Oh, there's an adjustment period. Yes.
The first time through the order is just going to be real tough here for the Athenians.
A little larger lead. Here's a ball popped into right center field. Center fielder over and cannot get there. Dowell, a good job. He had to hold up the ball that could have been caught, but we'll call that a Texas leaguer, and Moats a base hit.
Slinker had a long way to go at center field, and that wind was kind of holding it up just a little bit. Slinker made a great, I'm not kidding, he made an absolutely phenomenal play in center field against the Chargers on Thursday night. But it was just too far for him to get to, and the Athenians now have got a couple guys on quickly. So the first two guys in both lineups have gotten on. We'll see. Let's see if it's about 3-4 at the end of the first inning.
Here's a pitch high to A.J. Hall. A.J. having a good year all the way around.
Yep.
The only thing he would probably lament right now is the number of stolen bases that have been given up, but they haven't been A.J.'s fault. He's not had a chance very often. Here's the next pitch. It's down. 2 balls, no strikes. So Athenians trying to rally back quickly here. Didn't check coach down there. It's possible take situation right here with the pitcher having a little trouble with control.
Say that one caught the corner.
Well, he did. I noticed he signaled the strike with the left hand, I guess because he was a left-hand batter.
Evidently.
2 balls, 1 strike. A.J. waiting. Here's the pitch, and that one's inside.
AJ's hitting .420, 8 hits, 4 RBIs, 3 doubles already on the season, and has a freshly signed letter of intent to go to Manchester College.
Yeah, he's just a good, serious young ball player that really works hard, and you kind of got to be that way if you're going to be a catcher, if you're going to be successful as a catcher for sure.
Coach on the field.
So he draws ball 4, and the bases are loaded for, I'm going to say, the most dangerous hitter in the Athenian lineup, Cale Corsi.
He's maybe one of the most dangerous hitters in the state, not just on this field. Cale Corsi hitting .611, 11 hits, 8 RBIs, 3 doubles, 1 triple. So, yeah.
Well, Jeff, the thing, we all have to admit, the Athenian season turned last year on a dime when Cale Corsi went out of the lineup. I mean, that's something you obviously can't help. And the offense, I won't say died, but it was diminished by a great deal, and didn't really change the season.
Well, the demeanor of the team changed so much, Coach, and that's just because this young man is such a leader. He leads by example, and Coach Pierce on the basketball team talked about him. I know the night they lost in the sectionals, and I'm talking about the guys on the team, stuff like that. And the first guy that Coach Pierce talks about was the baseball guy.
Yep.
He talked about Cale Corsi, what his leadership role, his work in the locker room, and all the stuff he brings to practice and brings to everything else. So, yeah, he just moves it right over the baseball field. He's just a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal guy.
Here's the first pitch, and Cale takes that for a strike at the knees. Well, here's where you need to make sure you stay alert on the bases here. We've run bases pretty good this year. A couple of instances where we've made some mistakes. Here's a pitch down and away. Count evens 1-1. But, it looks like we're set up for a real fat situation here. We should really be able to help ourselves. Ducks on the pond, and one of our better hitters, if not the best. And here's the pitch. This is grounded to the left side. The throw will go to third, and it's an out, a force out, and the Athenians score a run as Bryce Dow crosses home plate. So an RBI there by Cale.
Your second baseman, Cale Weimer.
So, of course, he gets a run, but costs Crawfordsville an out. Still one guy in scoring position and another good hitter up. Weimer hitting .353, 6 hits, 5 RBIs on the year.
Well, Cale is doing a better job at the plate with his contact. That time he swings and misses at a pitch that, I don't know, it might have been on the outside corner. Not really a bad, that's certainly a hittable pitch, so let's put it that way. But his contact has been better, and I sure hope that keeps going, and his batting average shows it. Here's the next pitch. Here's a line drive to left field. Left fielder going, and he's not going to get it. That's going all the way to the fence out there. Athenians got a pair, and we're going to hit here. We had a little bit of a race going on there as Cale Corsi about to run over his teammate there. But the Athenians tied the ball game here.
And I did, and I missed him going in. We had a courtesy runner in, and that was Christopher Diaz. That's who Coursey was chasing. And that will bring the hero of last night's game up, Underwood, also starting pitcher today for Crawfordsville. Ball 1, then ball 2. Yeah, Underwood had that big hit in the bottom of the 10th inning that scored the run that won the game against Portage.
Well, he had hit the ball pretty hard last night, but was pulling the ball, which last season he tended to hit the ball strong into the right center field gap and things like that. But this year he's been turning the ball. He had a big hit into deep left center field down south. And, yeah, last night he hit 3 balls foul. 2 of them hit with real authority. Here's the next pitch. We're going to steal third without too much trouble on that one. Good job by Weimer there. Got a good jump and goes headfirst into third. So with 1 down, the Athenians threatening now to take the lead.
Well, and he needed a good jump and a good slide. That was a really good throw right on the base.
Here's the pitch way high, and that'll be ball 4. So Underwood on down to first base.
Third walk issued by Garbison.
Yeah, kind of creating his own problems a little bit.
And a courtesy runner is Daniel Surface.
All right, Jude Coursey up. I tell you, Jeff, his play down south defensively, playing shortstop, was just unbelievable. I mean, he made absolute big-time plays. Here's a runner going. They're going to throw down short, and that was kind of a little bit miscombobulated. But anyway, Cale Weimer was alert and came on home to score run number 4 for the Athenians. So they take the lead now 4-3.
That's one of those plays that Coach Acton was talking about. They would have really wanted to cut that off so that Weimer doesn't break. I mean, they almost got him out at second base, but as it is, now they give up 2 stolen bases.
Here's a runner going to third. The ball goes through the catcher, so there'll be no play at third. So runner at third now. Athenians leading 4-3. Jude Coursey at the plate. With only 1 away, Jude has struggled from the standpoint of looking at his batting average, but he's put the ball in play about as good as anybody on the team. He just has not been able to really drive the ball with a lot of authority. Here's a pitch taken for a strike, and the count is 2-1.
Was talking with Cody Emerson at the Journal last night after the games were done. We're talking specifically about Jude. His name came up. He said, his batting average isn't so hot. Yeah, I said, but when you got a kid as this one's put into play.
Ball third on to first base. And the low throw cannot come up with a throw, so that'll be an E5. So, again, Coursey puts the ball in play, does not get credit with a base hit, and that's kind of been where he's at. But anyway.
But he will get an RBI. But to finish that thought, I told Cody, I said, when you got a guy who's playing that well at shortstop, you can live with a lower batting average.
Yes.
And, of course, he does pick up his 3rd RBI of the season.
Here's a ball. That's going to be caught in center field. And we had another. No.
Slinker pulls that one down. And Jude Coursey's got to head back to first base.
2 down.
This will bring up the 9th hitter of the at-bat for the Athenians.
Here's ground ball, pitcher over to the right. He fumbles the ball. Everybody's going to be safe, and that'll be a E1. I'll tell you what, that was going to be tough anyway. This Farley can really burn.
He was tearing up grass. He was tearing up grass seeds on the way down. I could sure see that. So the Athenians go around the order here in the first inning. They bring up the 10th hitter of the at-bat, Bryce Dowell, back up. Dowell walked and scored the first run a few moments ago. Takes ball 1, 2 on, 2 out.
So we got it back here, but let's. I'm looking ahead. I want to see if get some outs and get back hitting again.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
top half was a little heavy on the Athenians there. 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the pitch, down and away. Ball 3. Bryce Dow walked the first time, well on his way, it looks like, to doing it again. Here's the next pitch for a strike. 3-1. I guess we're not supposed to complain about scorekeepers' nightmares. You know, you have to move the score column over here where here's a ball that's loose, and runners are going to go, but it was ball 4 anyway.
Yep. You can run or walk, whatever you want to do. Everybody moves 90 feet up.
So Athenians have got them loaded again. It looks like that may be all
For Garbison.
Cole Garbison can't quite get through the first inning, and we looking to see what change they're going to make. And moving some folks a little bit here. Looks like number 15 is coming into the ball game.
Bringing him in off the bench.
Yeah.
Braden Terry. Terry is a freshman who had a couple of scoreless innings in relief against North Montgomery on Thursday night. It was his very first appearance on the varsity level for Fountain Central. And Coach told me after the game, he said, and actually they threw, I'm going to quickly look up, they threw 2 different freshmen on Thursday night, Terry along with Wildman, and Coach Atkins said, Jeff, he said, you're going to see both of those freshmen throw some on Saturday against Crawfordsville.
Well, Athenians did what they needed to do there. As I mentioned, being patient can be very hard to do when a young man, I don't even want to estimate his velo.
Yeah.
But it was very low.
It was, yes. It was a low velo.
And
they make a song out of that.
There you go. Well, I'll leave that one to you.
Oh, there we go. So Garbison pitches
2/3 of an inning.
0.2. Just 2 hits. Walks and errors were a problem.
No question. No question. Well, it's a 5-3 ball game. Athenians now in the lead, and we're still playing here in the first inning.
Yep, four walks. 4 walks issued, and there were 2 errors.
Okay. All right, Wyatt moves to the plate. Wyatt got a little Texas leaguer's first at bat. Here's a pitch out away, ball 1. Well, we played 3 innings by this amount of time last night.
That's right.
Okay. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's the pitch, and this is up and away. Braden Terry, number 15, delivers. That one's right there for a strike. 2 balls, 1 strike. Athenian fans basking in the sunlight here this morning.
I think if you're standing in the sun, you're probably feeling pretty good.
Yeah, there's a little wind in their face, but yeah, it's better than it was last evening, I believe. Pitch fouled back into the screen, count even at 2 and 2. Deuces wild, 2, 2, 2. Here's the pitch. Swung on, ground ball right side. That'll be through for a base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes the next run. Runner going to third, and will be first and third with 2 outs as the Athenian score runs 6 and 7.
So Jude Coursey comes in from third. Dylan Farley right behind him on motoring in from second.
A.J. Hall.
Yeah, a successful first inning. Kind of looks like my scoreboard down at Elston is 7-3 in the first inning.
Runner goes to second, the first and third situation here, and so free base there's Dow. Well, we got a runner.
Yep. Moats is at
Mo-
second.
Moats.
Yep. Dowell ambles off at third base here.
We got, here's a line drive into center field over, and he has it for out number 3. I believe that's Foxworthy out there, maybe now. I'm not sure, but anyway, ball well struck by A.J. Hall, but that will end inning number 1, and your Athenians lead it by a score of 7-3. Line score looks like this. The Fountain Central Mustangs with 3 runs on 4 hits and 2 errors. Your Athenians with 7 runs, only 3 hits, and they have 1 error.
Lots of action, keeping our scorebooks well oiled with lots of black ink today. Yeah.
Yep.
2-1 in 10 innings last night, and we're 7-3.
Yeah.
7-3 now.
Well, not a total surprise, but
No.
at the same time, I am surprised how well the Mustangs struck the ball. I mean, those were not cheap hits.
They were not. They were not. They got right after. They got right after Underwood. And Coach Acton, again, as I mentioned, he said, hey, we're going to see a good pitcher at Crawfordsville. He said whether it's their third or their fifth guy doesn't make a bit of difference. And he said when you see good pitches, he said you want to hit good pitches. So no need to fall behind in the count. He said we're going to come up and swing the bat.
Trying to remember, I should look back here. I've got that right. But I mean, Underwood, I think, threw the ball pretty well down south. The innings he had, I can't remember how many innings he had, but he looked pretty good down there, and he looks smooth enough out there. He's not really what I call laboring, but hey, credit the Mustangs. They just put the ball in play and put it in play with pretty good authority. Well, it'll be 8, 9, and 1. It looks like coming up for the Mustangs here as we go to the second inning.
Leading off for the Mustangs, the designated hitter, number 6, Andrew Woodrow.
This will be Woodrow actually at the bottom of the order here. So he's
8, or I said 8. I think it's 9.
9-1-2.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got 2 names written in the same. Yeah,
Sure thing.
okay.
DH and the guy he's DHing for. He's hitting for the right fielder Spencer Crowd.
Yeah. Okay, here's the first pitch. Underwood delivers, and young man trying to lay down a bunt and got it a little bit too much on the wrong side of the line out there. But had it been fair ball, it'd been an interesting play.
A couple guys have laid down some pretty good bunts here for Fountain Central.
So Caden delivers the next pitch, swung on and missed, so 0-2 quickly here. Caden did have a lot of success with his breaking ball, and so I'm sure we're going to see a steady diet of that. Here's the pitch, another breaker that is outside. Good pitcher's pitch, 0-2 pitch. You don't want to throw it in there where it's going to go down the middle of the plate.
Just misses on the outside, maybe get him to sniff at it.
Next pitch, swung on and missed, ball in the dirt, but A.J. up with it on to first base, and it'll be, boy, he babied that throw, didn't he, Jeff?
Yeah.
He usually puts a little more mustard on it. Strikeout there for Caden Underwood. So, unlike inning number 1, a much better start for Caden here.
Austin keeping track of things past our fences, noticing that it looks like an Easter egg hunt going on up in the grassy area on the other side of the school.
Yeah, good observance. You're exactly right. Sure enough. First pitch of ball in there to Braden Pickett. He reached on an error, but it was a pop fly that went to third baseman Wyatt, and it's not Wyatt Earp, by the way.
That's right.
And it's Wyatt Moats down there, but he had sun trouble, and as we mentioned, we had that on our final game down south. Both teams struggled with sun and wind. Here's a pitch. Breaking ball stays high. 2 balls, 1 strike. Pickett came around to score the first Mustang run. Here's the next pitch, stays high. And out goes A.J. I really hesitate to say these things, but quite frankly, we know it's true. When you have a game last night against what's known to be a quality team, and you played very well, and you're feeling good after a great win, and then you look at a team that you know is having a hard time, here's a pitch taken into right center field. Oh my. Cam probably wouldn't like to see that. Is he backpedaling on a ball that he should have taken a drop step and easily got under, but he did it, get under and make the catch for out number 2. Where I was going is the Athenians, I won't say came out flat. I don't think that's the case at all, but you have a tendency maybe to not be quite as fired up as you might otherwise be. 2 down, and Cole Garberson, the starting pitcher for the Mustangs, to the plate. Here's a line drive in the center field, so Garberson squares that one up, and he gets his second hit of the day.
He dropped a perfect bunt down the third baseline his first trip up, and now pokes a good shot right up the middle. So he wasn't so successful on the mound, but he's sure been successful at the plate.
That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Owen Acklin to the plate. Acton, first time up, doubled to left center field, really put a thump into the thing, and really put the wheel in motion for the Mustangs.
Yep, he drove in the first 2 guys up that were on base in front of him.
Throw to first base, runner back in plenty of time. Pitch stays a bit high. 1 ball, no strikes. Coach Acton flashes signals down at third base.
This young man is the guy that Fountain Central will be leaning on heavily, hitting in this 3rd spot for run production through the course of their conference season.
Here's a pitch right there for a strike. Good breaking ball at the knees.
He was their leading hitter last year, leading RBI guy, leading long ball guy, things like that. So, the Fountain Central's job is to get some guys on in front of this young man.
Sure. Runner goes. Here's swung on and missed, and throw down. The runner will be right in there. Close play at second base, but definitely safe as Garberson showing good speed there.
Yeah, he got a good break, and Hall's throw was up just a little bit. Boy, I don't know if the ball had been right on the base. I don't know if it had been possible.
Closer than it was. It was
right.
Fairly close. But anyway, the count goes to 1-2. Ball taken to center field. Center field over and cannot get there in time. It's a base hit, and that'll score run number 4 for the Mustangs. And they go ahead and make the play. It's going to be an out. He has to slide, and he goes in, and A.J. Coach Acton making a point that thinking that the catcher was up the line blocking the plate. I don't think that flies in that situation.
The only time you can block the plate, any base, is if you have the ball. And that's a judgment call in the umpire's scenario.
Well, yeah.
He's going to say that A.J. had the ball, and then at that point in time, then you just it's not Major League Baseball. You can't just barrel into the guy.
No. Well, I tell you, I think that first of all, I was surprised that we went ahead and made the play at the plate. Honestly,
yeah.
I didn't think we had a chance, and I think if he comes in and makes the right play sliding, I don't think we get him.
No, you're right.
I mean,
right.
But the problem was he stayed on his feet, and as a result, an out. So
So that ends the inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 guy left on base.
so at the end of 1.5, the score remains 7-3 Athenians.
Underwood throws 16 pitches in the first inning, 15 pitches in this at bat, so he on a nice average here, 15 inning. I'm not sure if there's plans to use Underwood for 2, 3, 4, 5 innings, or if there's a pitch count for him.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Sometimes plans
I
change
don't
based on the score too.
Well, that absolutely,
You know.
that's true. Yep. Well, interesting play there. Like I said, I felt like the young man, he's just got to get down, and I think he had room to get by and get to the plate. I really
Right.
would say
Well, one of the other
he
things-
did the right thing, by the way, to come around and score. Like I said, I was surprised we even attempted to make the play, and I think under normal circumstance, I think he would have been safe. But
Of course, he made a great throw from shortstop,
Well, he did.
cutoff spot. I mean, he got the ball right to Hall, and it turned it into a judgment call. And like everybody saw, Hall was there, and I don't know. AJ Hall's a pretty good, stocky young man. I don't know if I'd want to run into him very many times.
well, throw down by Owen Acton, and we're ready to go here in the bottom of inning number 2.
It's going to be Cale Coursey, Cale Weimer, and Caden Underwood.
Now we've got a conference here. We're going to move some folks around here. Coach Acton put them on the field, but had a second thought.
Well, I'm still looking. I'm looking to see. Garbison was involved in that collision. Did he come back out on the field? I think he threw him out. Yeah.
Well, I noticed we've got Bryson Davis, I believe. Let me check that. Number 22, I believe, out in right field now. Moving out there.
Yeah.
Well,
see,
15 staying on the mound, but.
Yeah. Well, I think once it's all set, I think what happened, I don't think the Fountain Central coaches knew that Garbison had been ejected.
Oh, okay.
So Garbison did come back out of the field.
Okay, it
and
was
now
an injury, but yes.
Yes.
Player, which is automatic, by the way.
Right.
Umpire
And that was the first
doesn't
injury.
have a
The
choice.
umpire made that. He made the ejection motion. You saw that before he called the out. So Garbison's got to be replaced.
Yeah.
Terry is still on the mound, and they're just going to have to move some folks around. Garbison started on the mound for the Mustangs, was replaced in the first inning, moved to the outfield, and now is on the bench.
All right, here we go. Bottom of the second, Cale Coursey to the plate. Again, Athenians continue to lead 7-3. Here's the first pitch. That ball's outside.
Of course, he reached on a fielder's choice and drove in a run. His 9th RBI of the season, his first time up.
Here's Butch. Swung on, fouled out of play. Got toward the football field over there.
Mm-hmm.
He was obviously way ahead of that pitch.
Yeah, a really good hitter like this who has seen so much really, really quality and playing with the Bulls organization.
Here's a ball. Coach Moach doing a little
Yep.
tap dance down at third base as Cale rips a ground ball past him.
He'll figure out the timing on these guys here, but when he does, then everybody will be tap dancing.
Well, he's just having fun fouling balls there.
Yep.
Here's a 1-2. That one's down. Count evens 2-2.
The one they just threw back in, I think they threw out. The third baseman got the ball back in from out of play, and he threw it over to the Crawfordsville bench, so may have a cut on it.
Pitch. Swung on. Oh, there's a blue darter going right by the third baseman. Didn't get a glove on it. He probably
That was
thought maybe
that
he
was
should
by
have.
Foxworthy before Foxworthy knew where the ball was. And I don't mean that in a negative way.
No,
Luke's a good athlete, but that thing was a missile.
It's called too hot to handle. Had
Yeah.
he tried to do it anyway, but
And when it's too hot for the hot corner, you know you've got it done. That was just a screecher down there.
So Weimer to the plate. Here's the pitch, taken outside, ball 1.
Weimer doubled, drove in 2 runs, stole 2 bases, and scored.
Well, we sure look forward to this young man being back for another year or two. Here's a pitch. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, and what a great opportunity for Cale Weimer, because he is playing under an incredibly great player in Corsi, and next year we'll give him that opportunity to step in and do that exact same thing.
You're right about that. He's, and like I say, he's starting to look a little better at the plate, and they're gonna need his bat next year, I'm sure. Here's a pitch taken, strike, kind of a half swing at probably a ball he really wasn't going to swing at anyway. It was a 3-0 pitch.
Right on the fist at 3-0.
Corsi away from first. Here's the pitch. Line drive into left field. That'll be a base hit. Left fielder up and on the shortstop. And we have first and second. Nobody down. So good to see the boys swinging the bat.
Yes.
Because coming into the bottom of the second, the Mustangs had out hit it 6-3.
Yep.
Even though the score was flopped the other way. But we have bats going now.
Yeah. Well, walks and errors were a big part of that 7-run first inning.
Caden Underwood, Athenian pitcher to the plate. Here's the pitch. That one's down and away.
Underwood walked, stole a base, advanced on a wild pitch, and scored on Jude Kersey's error, when Jude Kersey reached on an error.
Here's the pitch. Ground ball left side. On to third, on the bag. No chance to get the double play, so that'll go as a fielder's choice. Third base unassisted.
It was a neat little Easter present for Foxworthy there, that Kersey's shot was by him so fast. That one was a nice 2-hopper that he was right at the base, 2 steps over, get the easy force out.
So that'll bring Jude Corsi to the plate. Here's the pitch away, ball 1.
Reached on an error, but drove in a run.
Here's the next pitch, swung on, grounded, foul toward the Athenian dugout. This is wishful thinking, maybe a little bit, but I am watching the flags here, fellas, and they look like they're beginning to go a little bit more out of the southeast.
Okay.
Here's a pitch. Line drive right at the shortstop. He has it. Now he's going to go to third to get the force out. Didn't want to, I guess, risk going the other way. But anyway, 2 down for the Athenians as Jude. And again, Jude Corsi puts the ball in play.
Yep.
Hit it pretty solid, actually, but that's the way it's going for Jude right now.
Yep. And Fountain Central playing it safe on that one. Get the lead runner rather than trying for 2 and possibly leaving a guy on third base.
Here's a long drive into left center field. That it will not be caught. That ball was going to be right at the fence out there where it dies. It's going to score 2 Athenians. Ball gets loose, but no further advancement. So that one, a charge put in that one by Patton, who may have had the first hit of the year.
That was his second hit.
So, okay,
Yep.
all right.
He was 1 for 9 coming in. Actually 1 for 10 because he flew out in the first inning. So yeah, it's his second hit. It's his second and third RBI of the season, and it is his first extra base hit. So ask for the ball back.
Well, he put a charge in that one for sure.
Yep.
Here's a ball popped to third, and that'll be out number 3 as Farley just got a piece of that one and had that ball kind of got down 1 hop. It was hit slow enough, he might have had a chance to beat that one out. Anyway, in the inning for the Athenians, they come up with 2 more runs and now lead it by a score of 9-3.
Yep, they had 2 runs on 3 hits as Cale Corsi had the rocket that led things off, and he was eventually forced out. And then Weimer singled, and he was also forced out at third base. But then Caden Underwood reached on a fielder's choice. Jude Kersey reached on a fielder's choice, both scoring ahead of Caden Patton's first extra base hit of the season. So 2 runs, 3 hits, and here we are.
Okay, well, Jeff, it took me a long while to get through those first 2 innings. We never mind that much, though, when the Athenians are putting runs on the board to cause the time to go by so slowly.
Oh, we've always got stuff to talk about. We can fill the airwaves with good, bad, and indifferent.
Well, that's that is for sure. I've been around baseball. Well, I honestly probably don't know how long I've been around baseball, because I think my dad had me in the bleachers probably before I could speak a whole lot.
That's right.
Let's put it this way, it's probably pushing 85 years.
Isn't that something? That's incredible. I know I sure don't have that kind of a number, but I know that we both grew up in baseball families. In many years, obviously, as a long and distinguished and well-known name here in this area. My dad pitched for the city amateur team for a bunch of years.
Okay.
And also, he even won a state championship with the Del Rapids team, and played. He played for several summers after he and Mom got married, as this first pitch is fouled out. But Mom told stories all the time about me and a bunch of other little kids. They built a sandbox down by the home dugout, and the kids we played in the sandbox while the moms sat in the bleachers and talked about things and watched baseball.
Well, I tell you, Mustangs keep swinging that bat.
Slinker lines one to left field. So he's got 2 hits. He had an RBI single in the 3-run FC first inning. And this will bring up Luke Foxworthy. Foxworthy struck out on 3 pitches his first trip up. He did not like a couple of Underwood's breaking balls. So I'm going to guess he's going to see more breaking balls. From the stretch, Underwood puts one down low. Underwood threw 31 pitches in his first 2 innings, so he's certainly cruising along well enough that whatever plans the coaches have for pitching strategy today. Swing and a miss.
It was a good pitch.
Yep.
It looked like the best fastball he's throwing, I believe.
Very good. Yeah, and sometimes you just got to challenge the guy. You know what? And when you fed him a diet of a breaking ball, sometimes that fastball can surprise you. Squares up and offers. So it'll be strike 2 on Foxworthy. He was trying to catch the defense napping a little bit there, as your number 5 hitter doesn't always lay down a bunt, and down 9-3. You wouldn't expect to.
Well, he struck out his first time, and
yep.
He's probably a better hitter than. Well, there's a ball.
Foul ball straight back.
Just make it. I just say we don't have any problem with the girls' field today on those foul balls, but that's something kind of still scary around here.
Oh, I know it. There were 4 or 5 of them last night. I was covering the girls' game. The Athenians lost to Attica. It's a foul ball. It's going to drift out to the right side, and there were 2 of them. There were 2 of them that one landed really, really close to a runner at second base, but you could tell people were not catching up with Kersey's fastball because of where the ball was landing. It was way, way, way down the pipe. Pitch is a little down and away. Good spot for Underwood on a 1-2 pitch there after Foxworthy had fouled a couple of them away. 7th pitch of the at-bat coming up here for Luke Foxworthy. One of the leaders of the pack of that Fountain Central basketball team that went to the semi-state. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout of the afternoon. I guess we're in the afternoon by now for Foxworthy. And this will bring up Lucas Miller, who singled his first time up. And we've got, just getting some extra baseballs. As I mentioned earlier, Miller, the young man at the plate, will be on the mound He's the number one pitcher for FC. He will be pitching on Monday when this team faces South Vermilion in WRC play. Pitch a little up, ball one. The Athenians open Sagamore Conference play next Tuesday here at home against Danville. And Coach certainly willing to chat a whole bunch about Sagamore Conference, this year. I think it's a lot of question marks. I think a gigantic question mark is that Danville team. I think Tuesday is going to be, as this pitch catches the corner for strike one, I think this Danville team, who struggled last year, they had graduated a really, really good class the year before. And they had a lot of young guys, a very inexperienced team, and they kind of took some thumps last year. There's a swing and a foul tip maybe, far as swing and a miss anyway, 2-2. So if Danville can come back to the form that they have been at for several years, they will be a factor in the Sagamore Conference. But I think Crawfordsville and North at first blushes, pitch outside.
Well, I think Danville's been a little bit of a surprise as not being a little more toward the dominant side of the league. I mean, they've been in the upper half, but they've just not ever really been right up on top of it.
No. Good but not great. So here's one that's way up in the air.
If it stays in, it'll be fair, but I think it's out. Yeah,
it's just almost on top of our little Kubota here. So the seventh pitch of the at-bat coming up for Miller. So Foxworthy goes to 7 pitches. Miller's going to 7 pitches. He's going to stretch. Underwood out here just.
You're going to go through a little more than he threw in the first 2. Isn't he?
Yeah. But anyway, back on the Sagamore Conference comp. Certainly the Athenians. North Montgomery's certainly got some very, very good baseball players. Trey West is always a question mark. Swing and a miss, strike 3, 2 outs. And, Frankfurt always seems to find a Lopez to pitch. So, we'll see what happens there.
For sure.
So, and then that leaves the Tigers of Lebanon, when they got, if they've got a couple good athletes, they've got such big numbers over there now that, we'll see. So, this is Guerin, called strike 1. Guerin struck out his first trip up. So, so the Sagamore Conference will certainly be interesting.
Well, if Athenian pitching can stay healthy, I like their chances this year for sure.
Kersey Weimer is
As a good
1-2 punch as you're going to find anywhere in the conference, in a lot of conferences. So you just got to score enough runs to get those guys the support they need, and pick them up on the night when they don't have such a good game. Swing and a miss, strike 2 on Guerin. Oh, yeah. Because the same scenario, not only in the conference, but also when you get into the postseason, 2 really good pitchers, solidifies your chances to go deep. But you still got to get some runs, and that's. There's an excuse me swing and an excuse me contact. Out. He's out. 6-3.
Good pick over there at first base by Cale Corsi.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Pull one out of the sand there. So Fountain Central gets the leadoff hitter on a slinker single, and that's where he dies on the vine.
Yeah.
So no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and that one guy left. Underwood throws 2, 9, 16, 20 pitches. So not as bad as I thought.
Well, going back to Danville, okay.
Danville.
No, that's not bad at all.
No.
Going back to Danville, just want to remind everybody that we will be here with webcast, the home game on Tuesday, 6 o'clock ball game.
Very good. Need a hand or you have somebody lined up?
I think he's got somebody, but I'm not sure.
Well, then I'll just sit on the other side of the press box and keep score.
It's like, this is one of those deals we kind of like almost never know for sure.
Oh, I totally understand. And the situation is that it's very hard for for Cody down at the Journal Review because, there's a limited number of teams that we can cover, given a given night. And we try and, because all 3 area schools plus Fountain Central all deserve a little coverage here and there. Plus there's baseball and there's softball, along with golf and of course track and tennis and things like that. So, sometimes assignments don't get made until the last minute.
Well, anyway.
It was literally last night when I found out that I'm coming to cover the Athenians on Tuesday.
We will have somebody here on the webcast on Tuesday, 6 o'clock. And by the way, we will not webcast the Wednesday night game, which is at Danville, but at the same time, 6 p.m. So and then next Saturday we'll be obviously here with the webcast. And again, that is going to be at this point a round robin rather than our normal 4-team tourney. That is not. I don't think that's cast in concrete at this point, really. Yep. I mean, you leave that possibility open for a 4th team, but as of right now, it's 3 teams, so it'll be a round robin, and I do not have the start time Saturday morning. But anyway, we'll be here Saturday morning. I hope,
11,
although I think that we've got such good weather next week, but I think late in the week, maybe possibly Saturday, we might be looking at the possibility of rain again. But
well, it's April. No day in April does not include a chance of rain.
There you go.
Simple as that. All right, so bottom of the 3rd coming up, the Athenians up 9-3. It'll be the top of the order coming through for the 3rd time for Crawfordsville. Bryce Dowell leads off. I need to go out there and look. That's number 22. That's a new pitcher.
Yeah, he's the guy that came and played right field the first inning.
Davis. Foul ball almost off the Athenian head over there. Though. Count goes to 1-1. Dowell has reached base twice on 2 walks, scored 1 run. That pitch up over his head. As Coach talked about, Dowell, as you expect from a leadoff hitter, reaches base a bunch. His batting average not the best, but when you reach base on errors and walks and whatever,
tough play.
Puts the ball just right where the shortstop wasn't. You see him with a dive there, so Dowell has his first hit of the day, but is on base for the 3rd time. And that'll bring up Wyatt the Earp Moats. 2 singles, 2 RBIs, but no runs scored thus far from Moats. First pitch fouled. Davis pitching for Fountain Central is a sophomore, so we'll wait and see if that other freshman, Wildman, pitches a little bit later. As I mentioned, Coach Acton said there are a lot of guys going to see some foul tip. A lot of guys are going to see some throwing time today for Fountain Central. And that's how the Mustangs approach this. So they approach this as a game to play a really good competitor. It's a non-conference game. Go see some good pitching. Go see what you can do.
Tomahawked.
Yep. Shortstop cheated a couple steps towards second base, and the ball ended up in the 6 hole. So Moats has his 3rd hit of the day. 3 for 3. Pushes Dowell 90 feet up. And that'll bring up A.J. Hall. 400 hitter, 4 RBIs on the season. He reached on a walk and scored in the first, flied out to center field to end that first inning as 3 guys batted twice for Crawfordsville in the bottom of the 1st. Hall takes one on the inside corner.
He's trying to deke the umpire, I think. There.
Yep. He's having none of that.
That hit him.
Yeah. He owns that one. So Hall playing physical baseball here today. He was involved in a big collision at home plate when Fountain Central was up. This will be Diaz coming into courtesy run again. Diaz, when I said A.J. Hall scored in the first inning, that was a fabrication because Diaz was the courtesy runner who came in and scored for him in that first. So Diaz is on base again.
That's McCarty.
Okay. It is. I apologize. I thought it was 23. 23 says, there says Christopher Diaz.
It got changed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it's McCarty. There's
That's
a
it.
ground ball, double play depth, 4-6. That's all it gets. So Cale Corsi is second fielder's choice and his second RBI of the day. And McCarty is out at second base.
The second baseman.
Moats moves to third. Bryce Dowell is in for the second time today. All right, so let me do a quick change here and put McCarty on that. The guys who have covered the Athenians all year long know when the rosters have been doctored up a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
This is Weimer, takes a strike.
McCarty, a good young talent, and see how the season goes. We may see him getting a little more playing time in the
Sure,
field as
sure.
time goes by.
Well, yeah.
Only a freshman, so
You got a really good team. It's tough to bust into the starting lineup as a freshman. Whether you're line drive right over the outstretched glove. Scores one. It's going to score two. And Weimer has his second 2 RBI hit. It's his third hit of the day.
good to see. He is definitely an improved hitter to this point in time of this season. He's way ahead of where he was last year.
So that scores Cale Corsi and Moats. 3 runs in here in this bottom of the third inning for Crawfordsville. Underwood will come to the plate. And that pitch hit Underwood's bat. Pitch was literally that far behind him. He tried to get out of the way and just couldn't get his bat out of the way. So foul ball. Underwood has reached base twice.
Right at him, but
That one drifts. Got up in the jet stream and sailed right over the left fielder's head. And hustling over to third base was Weimer.
Although it be many years ago, that was a fond memory there. But somehow, as a sophomore, my first varsity game playing against Lafayette Jeff, the coach puts me in left field, and I'd practiced as an infielder. I'd always been an infielder, you know.
Yep.
And a shot like that came out there, and I froze just like that young man did.
Yep. And next thing you know, you're running for
Next
the fence.
thing I knew, I was on third base.
You're back where you've been practicing. So 1 out and a couple guys on, couple guys in already. And at the plate for Crawfordsville is Jude Corsi. Corsi has reached base twice, but is officially 0 for 2 and has scored 2 runs. There's a little slap down the right field line. Evens the count at 1. So the bottom of the order producing for the Athenians today, Caden Underwood in the 6th spot has scored twice. Jude Corsi in the 7th spot has scored twice. And here's a fly ball 8 miles up.
Good job.
Nice job by the catcher. Nice job. That's Owen Acton to flag that one down in foul territory.
Right fielder.
And that's out number 2 for Crawfordsville. And that'll bring up Caden Patton. We're talking about Corsi in the 7th spot has scored twice. Farley in the 9th spot has scored once. So 5 runs in the bottom 4 spots for Crawfordsville's batting order today. First pitch is down a little bit. Patton has a double, his first extra base hit of the season. He drove in 2 runs with that double in the 2nd inning. Next pitch a little out.
I won't say the hardest hit ball of the game by the Athenians, but well struck.
It was in the right place at the right time.
Probably won't hit one any harder than Cale Corsi hit today.
That thing got by Foxworthy at third base faster than he could bend over to even wave at it. Of course, he is not helping his .611 batting average, though. He's only 1 for 3. There's a pop fly out to second, drifting out, wind.
I couldn't hold it.
Yeah. Right off the tip of the glove.
That'll be an E4, but
E4, and because there's 2 outs, you can't give the RBIs.
No RBI.
So Patton reaches base, and 2 guys. Weimer obviously scores easily from third, and Underwood was hustling.
Yeah. Ooh, chalk it up and try the 8 ball in the side pocket next time.
That's right. That's right.
Well, that gives the Athenians that 10-run, now 11-run lead here.
Yeah.
So
But they still get 1 more back.
they
The
do
10-run
indeed.
rule is
They
5
do
innings.
indeed. You got to play 5.
Yeah. Ball's in the dirt. It'll even the count at 1-1.
Like to see Farley get a base hit here. He's not had many. I don't know what he's hitting, but it's kind of a young man that just looks like he's not real comfortable at the plate yet.
Right.
Too bad because he had a really run.
Man, the next pitch misses. 2-1. The Athenians.
Tough luck,
Yeah,
streamer.
right there. And Crawfordsville puts 9 at the plate. Scores 5 on 4 hits. There was that 1 error that led directly to 2 runs being scored. And Crawfordsville leaves Patton on at first base. So we look out at the box, look at the line score here on the scoreboard at John Froge Field. Is Fountain Central, 3 runs, 7 hits, and they now have been guilty of 3 errors, while Crawfordsville has scored 14 runs in 3 at-bats. They have 10 hits, and they were guilty of an error in the first inning on a high sun pop fly.
I want to, you can do some research on this if you like.
All right.
But
I love doing research.
standing in front of you is possibly the oldest living Athenian baseball player. Graduated in 1954.
Wow.
And I actually played on that same team with him as a sophomore.
So is he a couple days older than you, Coach?
He's a year and a half older than
Oh,
I am.
okay. And
yeah.
who is this young man?
Well, Mr. Dick Baker.
Yep.
And he, at that point in time, was an infielder, but we played for many years. He ended up being a catcher, some in baseball, and then for a long time with the fast pitch softball.
Oh, sure.
I do know there is another player in his class still living, and
Okay.
you would maybe you know this guy's son. His name was Bill Lewis,
Oh, sure.
and you know Barry.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Sure do.
And by the way, they were both catchers, Barry and Bill.
That's right. That's right. This is Nolan Acton leading off the top of the 4th inning for Fountain Central. First pitch just inside. Second pitch is also going to miss just a bit. 2-0. Acton grounded out back to the pitcher, back to Underwood in his only trip to the plate in the first inning. Fountain Central jumped on Underwood early. Pitch right down the middle for a called strike. In the first, if you tuned in a minute late, you missed a whole bunch of action because Braden Pickett reached on an error on the first pitch. Garbison, as we get a foul ball, Cale Garbison bunted him, reached, and a great bunt, reached on a single on the first pitch. Owen Acton came up and hit his first pitch to the fence for a double that scored a run. And then Kyle Slinker came up, fouled one off, and then hit a single for 2 RBIs. So it was 5 pitches, and the Mustangs had scored 3 runs. So we're gonna miss strike 3.
I think really that Underwood has picked up his velo.
5th strikeout.
And he's just throwing pretty confidently out there right now.
Yes. Yep, and that happens. It's a human nature kind of thing. As his first pitch is outside, Woodrow at the plate, he is one of those 5 strikeout victims. And you see that as pitchers come out, especially a pitcher like Underwood who has not thrown a tremendous amount of innings yet this season. As you get kind of settled in, you don't really work up a sweat on a cool day like this, but you get comfortable, where your catcher's got the glove for you, and he's just get comfortable. You've seen the hitters once around, and just kind of know if your curveball's working well or not working so much, and he's cruising right along. Pitch just misses, so go to 3-1.
Yeah, he's got 3 balls on the count, but two of those balls were,
Pretty
just
close.
right there.
That's right, pretty close. And that was low and outside.
Yep.
I was just going to see if I could tell folks, and I think that is his first walk.
Sure is.
First walk issued by Underwood, and that brings up the top of the order for Fountain Central. It'll be Braden Prickett, who scored one of those 3 FC runs. He reached on an error in the first inning, popped out to second, his second trip up. Foul ball. Just making a little contact there, following it over there towards the Fountain Central dugout.
Got work down in the FC dugout. Dugout. We have no action in the Athenian. Not dugout, the bullpen.
Yep.
And
here's one up in the air. Wind's gonna blow it.
Got a force out if you get with it. Yeah.
So that's going to go as an 8 to 6 force out.
I tell you that was a tough situation for a base runner. He probably had more room to come on down the line a little bit, particularly once you see the guy start to dive a little bit. But tough position for a runner to be in there.
They do give Prickett credit for the hit, which is fair. Then just the force out happens. Strike 1 now on Gale Garbison. I'm sorry, not Garbison.
Wait a minute. Take that back. You can't give him a hit. That's not
on the out. Well, they put it up on the scoreboard.
No, that's not correct scorekeeping.
No, okay.
You can't get him a hit.
Right. And this is Bryson Davis in the batting order. He takes the spot of Garbison, who was ejected after the collision at home plate. Strike 2 on the swing and miss. 1 and 2 on the count. 2 outs, 1 on, top of 4. The Athenians leading Fountain Central here by double digits. Slow roller to short.
Good pick.
Quick throw over to first. Corsi to Corsi.
Ju just absolutely makes it look easy.
Yeah. Well, he's got a 90-pound cannon there on that right arm. So officially it's no runs on no hits, because we're going to call that a fielder's choice on that little blooper by Prickett that got the force out. No errors and 1 left. Not a lot of pitches here for Underwood. 2, 6, 11, 16 pitches. So 67 pitches
through
4 innings.
Certainly can finish this thing if coaches so desire.
Yep. if it
Don't-
stays in this 10-run rule bracket.
Well, and we didn't see any work in the bullpen
No.
down there, and we'll see if that changes here.
Yep. This is now number 2, Nolan Acton, coming in to pitch for Fountain Central. And Acton is one of the Coach Acton's has got four kids, and on Thursday over at FC, Coach was coaching, and his oldest son was catching. His number 2 son was playing in the infield. His number 3, I believe it was the number 3 son, was in, I believe it's 6th or 7th grade, and they were performing a musical, not a play, but there was a singing performance, a choir thing going on over at the junior high, and then the youngest is, I believe, a daughter, and she had volleyball practice.
Okay,
so
well, you got it covered.
Mom Acton was all over the place because she also helps with the concession stand.
Okay.
So, no, lots going on. Lots going on. Bottom of 4 for the Athenians. They're going to send the top of the order up for the 4th time. Dowell has reached base on 2 walks and a single, has scored twice. And he will be facing the 4th Fountain Central pitcher of the day. It is Nolan Acton. He is a freshman. There's some freshmen that are going to make key contributions to this Fountain Central team this season.
You would think so, for
Yep.
sure. You know, that's
So Nolan pitching to his brother behind the plate. Owen Acton can also pitch. He pitched some for Fountain Central last year, but the problem they've got is that there's really not anybody to catch after Acton. So after Nolan Acton, or I'm sorry, Owen Acton. So anyway, we're back to action here in the 4th. Dowell's first pitch scoops up a little bit of sand. Bryce hitting in the leadoff spot. Rockets one to center.
I don't know. He's not. Yeah,
Slinker's not going to catch up to that one.
No.
That just kept on going over his head.
Again, young man making a mistake of
Yep.
backpedaling on that, getting the drop steps.
2-base hit for Dowell, his 2nd hit of the day. That will drive his batting average up a bit because he is now officially 2 for 2
Yep.
with 2 walks. And this will bring up Wyatt Moats. Moats has 3 hits on the day, has scored 1 run, drove in 2 with one of those hits. Moats actually singled on an 0-2 count his last trip up. Curveball just catches the outside corner for a called strike. Moats waiting and waiting on that one and drives it up in the sky. Easy catch for the shortstop. First out on the F6. So Moats is retired for the first time today. 1 on, 1 out. That'll bring up A.J. Hall. Hall has reached base twice. He walked and scored in the first, then a fly out, and then he was hit by a pitch. And he's going to get hit by another one.
Yeah, didn't get hurt though.
No, that was almost a negative velo on that one. And that will bring in McCarty to run for him for the 4th time.
Now batting first baseman, Crawfordsville.
Corsi up on the day. He's 1 for 3 with a single. He has scored twice and has driven in 2. fouls this one.
He's just a little anxious to hit up
Yeah.
there.
That's when you're a 6'11" hitter coming in and you see one coming in that slow, it looks like a slow pitch ball, and you just want to hit into the swimming pool over across the parking lot.
I'm sure that's crossed his mind.
Yes. Pitch. Boy, I thought that might have fallen into his strike zone, but it does not.
Actually, the umpire did. I
did
think
he?
he thought people were thinking it maybe was good, but he signaled up.
Up. Okay. The Athenians, we're talking about Corsi hitting one into the swimming pool. The Athenians are still looking for their first home run of the season.
That'll be a base hit.
Yep, goes with the
I think.
pitch.
Well, he got thrown out.
Yeah.
Good job as second baseman.
Nice job.
I credit him for hustling over there and making a play. I really didn't think he'd get there in time. Cale runs very well.
That he does, but he's going to have he'll head back and have a seat. But he does move the runners up. Dowell to third, McCarty to second, and that'll bring up Weimer, who is swinging a hot bat today. Double, single, 4 RBIs.
He's going to get
hits him.
Walk down.
He's not going to get another RBI yet. Those 4 RBIs give him 9 on the season, which now ties him with Cale Corsi for this team lead. Underwood, the hitting hero last night, the pitching hero so far today. Underwood has reached base 3 times. Puts the first pitch in play.
Bad hop.
Takes a bad hop.
Yeah, I think they'll probably give him an error, but that really was a little bit of a tricky hop there.
Yep. Let's see. 6-10. Now they haven't decided yet.
Well, I'm going to give him an error.
Yeah.
If I was playing shortstop, I would expect to have an error.
Right.
But it's
Oh,
nonetheless.
the air just got posted. And that brings Rogers in to run for him. So Rogers will be looking to score for the 4th time if he can get all the way around. Jade Corsi takes ball 1. Corsi has reached base twice, but is 0 for 3 on the day. Reached on an error and scored in the first. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the second. Popped out to Acton, who made a really nice play behind the plate in the third.
Oh, my goodness.
Rockets right off the pitcher's foot. Bounces into short right field. Scores 1. Here comes a second runner. So take a quick look at Acton. He's not favoring the foot or anything. He may have just hit off the bottom of his shoe. But everybody's going to take a quick axe. And,
well, that was a base hit, but it almost.
Yeah.
Jude almost, because I think this has happened to him twice before where it's hit somebody, deflected off, and the next guy makes the play. But this time they couldn't make that play.
That one bounced out into the outfield.
He hit that ball hard.
Yep, so Corsi picks up 2 more RBIs. He's now got 3 on the day. Ooh, that's grazed the top of his helmet. So Patton becomes the 3rd hit by pitch guy of this inning. And that brings up the 9th guy in the batting order in this half inning.
Oh, good
One
stop.
hopper. Yep, right back to the mound.
There again, although they might have had a force out, but if that ball gone through the shortstop, I don't think he'd ever made the play at first on fire like that.
No, although he did have, if he could have spun around, he did have a guy at first, so he may have had a force there. But as it is, Acton makes a nice play in the middle, fields his position, and for the 2nd inning in a row, Crawfordsville brings 9 to the plate. They score 3 on 2 hits. There was 1. That E6 was the only error, and the Athenians leave the bases full. So there we sit. If you can see the scoreboard out there, 17-3 our score. 12 hits for the Crawfordsville, 8 for Fountain Central. Handful of errors for the Mustangs, one for Crawfordsville. And now that we're through 4 innings, I'll turn this thing back over to Coach Welliver.
Well, you really left me plenty of margin here for error to end it here at 5.
Yes.
So that's
Well, we'll
great.
play. Here's what we'll do. If Fountain Central gets enough runs to send it to the 6th, I'll do the 6th inning.
Hey, all right. Well, I'm going to leave it. That happens. You'll have to do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you and some unhappy fans will be. Well, I'll tell you what. The North Montgomery fans were holding their breath on Thursday night over at FC when the. At FC when they were leading 8-0 going into the 7th inning, and it turned into an 8-5 game, and the tying run was at the plate. So.
Well, Wyatt
Moats
is coming on, and
What does it call him? Wyatt the Earp Moats.
a good outing by Mr. Underwood today. I thought he was well in command.
Yep.
He did get in around a little bit. Credit the Mustangs on that part of it.
Right. But remember, 4 of those hits came in the first inning. So he only gave up 8 total hits. And so half of them came, stretched out over the course of other time frame. And, he threw 67 pitches. He only walked 1, struck out 5. So certainly a good way to, if it hangs this way, to pick up your first win.
Sure enough. All right. Moats to the plate. Ball taken to right field. Right fielder drops the ball as he looked real confident at the first, and then all of a sudden he said, I got to come in because that wind pushing the ball down, and that'll go as an error in right field there. But
the second Crawfordsville error, and both of them have been the inability to handle what we would consider a routine fly ball.
Really.
The leadoff batter got one up in the sun, and that didn't get caught, and that one got hung up in the wind a little bit. Brings up
pitch
strike 1.
There for a strike as number 14, Slinker, steps in. So acting away from first. Here's the ball fouled off to the right side into the net. No balls, 2 strikes. Top half of inning number 5. 17-3, your Athenians lead it. Run on first, nobody down here. Here's a pitch, swung on and missed. He waved at that one that was way off the plate. So he goes down swinging.
Yep.
Out number 1 here.
Coach, the Portage team that played Crawfordsville last night to that 10-inning game is playing North Montgomery today, and I think they were a noon start, if I remember right. So,
yeah, you might get a note on that one.
yep. If Austin's got something on Game Changer there.
Here's a pitch swung on and missed. Good fastball there by Moats.
Foxworthy couldn't get around on it. Foxworthy has 2 strikeouts on the day. Had some problems with Underwood's curveball, and Moats just threw that one by him.
Here's a ball shot off to the right side. Had a little bit of English on it.
Yep.
Had the grass not been so heavy, might have had a chance to come back fair.
The John Froch turf there, that good and thick, and ate that ball right up.
0-2 now. Luke Foxworthy, third baseman for the Mustangs. Balls away, 1 ball, 2 strikes. How about ending this on a little ground ball double play?
Oh, I would like that.
Here's a pitch taken down. Count evens, 2 balls, 2 strikes. I would have thought this young man, the way I saw him swinging earlier, would be swinging a little bit later than what we're playing him. But he hits it right up the middle, and that is going to drop, and then we dive but can't get it. So Farley quickly retrieved, but runners will end up at first and third here with only 1 down. Good base hit there by Foxworthy. Now, different kind of a ball game. You don't dive for that ball.
No, you don't. No.
but not a mistake there.
Okay. That'll bring up Lucas Miller, and no score.
No word yet from North Montgomery.
No score, no word. Nothing. Nothing, man.
A little
I think they're
conference going on
They're
here.
looking to possibly bring a pinch runner in.
There we go. Number 7 stepping onto the bag.
That is Tayden Dahl.
Ready for the Mustangs on first base is number 7, Tayden Dahl.
So now Lucas Miller steps in. Lucas is 1 for 2 on the day.
Had a nice single in the first inning. He hits in the 6th spot here for Fountain Central. And as I mentioned a couple times, he will get the ball on the mound. Pitches up from Journal Review Twitter. North and Portage tied at 1 after 1 inning.
Okay. Here's the pitch taken inside. Most throwing the ball hard. Definitely a little pick up in D though.
There you go.
That'll be outside, so he falls behind 3-0 here. Got a first and third situation, but normally behind like that they will not be running, and so there is a strike. Fastball at the knees. 3 balls, 1 strike. Still looking for a ground ball here. Here's a pitch. Swung on, popped high in the air to the right side. Long run out there, but no chance. But really good effort, and I think he saw that ball better than he did the one before.
Yeah. Patton gave it a good chase. But he had a mile and a half to go get that one, and it just falls in front of him.
He's one young man's going to wish that this wind stops blowing someday. He's one of the guys who was having a hard time chasing him around out there in Tennessee. 3-2 now. Here's the pitch. Line drive will hop. Whoa! That is going to be an E4. Ball hit hard, but got to come up with that because that was a tailor-made double play ball. Just what the doctor ordered, but couldn't fill it out.
Left fielder, Zach Guerin.
And that does allow a run to score.
Indeed, and
so with less than 2 outs, Miller will get an RBI on that E4.
So now we got another pinch runner here, number 34, coming into the ball game, and let's see where we're at with that. Looks like
Uriah Wildman.
Wildman, yeah.
Yep.
Well, let's just shut her down here. We're letting them have too much fun. Zach Guerin steps in. Zach is 0 for 2 on the day. All right, boats ready, out of the stretch. Swung on and missed. High fastball. Well, I think we're going to see this young man continue to pick up on his velocity as only a sophomore. Got time to grow. Here's another swing and a miss. Fastball, throwing it by him.
Gonna guess Guerin's gonna see that exact same pitch.
Yeah, I can see it right up in his eyes. See if he can. Oh, that's down and swings and misses. So 2 down here.
Second strikeout for Moats. And that will bring up Nolan Acton, who is now listed as who pitched the last inning for FC.
Ball fouled off, out of play. 17-4, your Athenians lead it here. We're in the top half of inning number 5. White Moats trying to close it out after a good 4 innings of pitching by Underwood. Here's a ground ball left side, big hop on to first base with a bullet over there, and that'll be 3 down. So, Corsi, by the way, I think maybe, did we call the air to the wrong guy? I don't know. Maybe I did.
Which one?
We had air there at second base a while ago.
Yeah, it was.
Well, it was probably the other Kale.
Oh, okay.
I think I said Kale Weimer, but not
Okay.
sure. But anyway, I think that's what
All
it was.
right. No big deal if that's what it was.
Well, that was Kale Corsi that just made the play at third base
absolutely. Threw a
to
rocket
end
over
the
it.
ball game here.
Yep. So it's 1 run on 1 hit, 2 Athenian errors, which will not sit well with Coach Modes. 2 runners left on base.
So the final line score for the visiting Mustangs, they came up with 4 runs on 9 hits, and they had 4 errors. And your Athenians, 17 runs, they had 12 hits, and they had 3 errors. So Athenians now move to 5-2 on the season, and now looking forward to starting conference play on Tuesday. And again, we will be here with that on the web. Athenians then on Wednesday will be on the road to Danville. Next weekend, we'll be here Saturday morning with what it looks like now, a round-robin type tourney, entertaining Griffith and Norwell coming down from the north. So, Jeff, good working with you again today.
Pleasure as always.
Quite an opposite type of look from what I saw last night here, and you saw the end of that too. So
we expected that.
But Mustangs moved to 0-4, but boy, I tell you, I was impressed. Now, we had to look at that and see that most of the action was up in the order a bit, but they swung the bats well.
They did. The Athenians made good contact, scored up, and I know the coaches like the whole situation where the guys at the bottom of the order get some hits and get some runs.
Yep.
You know, you expect it from the top of the order; it's always going to happen. But it's always good to see it from the bottom.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks again, and thanks to Austin Hickey, Jeff Nelson. Sure, we'll do it again someday.
Sure hope so.
I think you have been doing, by the way, a great job with the paper, too.
Thank you.
I wanted to mention, I believe you did I don't know how long ago it wasn't that long ago, with a little bit of a basketball
some of the trivia stuff?
flavor and
Yep.
the trivia, and really enjoyed that.
Thank you.
Obviously.
And Coach Petty gave me a couple things. This last week's column was on the couple of rule changes, the Lou Alcindor and the Will Chamberlain dunk rules, how they changed when those guys came into college.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Always fun. Thank you for the kind words.
So, this is Dan Welver saying goodbye and good baseball. We'll see you next week.